The following is a rebroadcast of TV50's Candlepin Stars and Strikes. WNDS Sports and Tri-State Megabucks present Candlepin Stars and Strikes.
Oh, look at this. Look at it! He got it! Ready for a fair!
Candlepin Stars and Strikes is sponsored in part by Milwaukee Kent Toyota Dodge Nissan.
Looks good. Looks good. That's good to go. It's a
Candlepin Stars and Strikes is produced in conjunction with the New Hampshire Candlepin Bowling Association. And now your hosts, Doug Brown and Dan Murphy.
Hi, everybody, and welcome once again to Park Place Lanes here in Windham, New Hampshire, and to Candlepin Stars and Strikes. I'm Doug Brown, working along with me, as always, Dan Murphy. And week 2, we have Dave Richards coming back to try and make it 2 in a row after kind of a methodical, tough win last week.
Well, he kept plugging away and finally got it on track, but not a typical day for Dave Richards. And this week, I think he's going to need a little more.
All right, let's talk about our 2 bowlers for this week's program. Again, coming off a win last week, he rolled a .354 to beat Glenn Shattuck, looking for 2 in a row this week from Plastow, New Hampshire, our number 5 seed, Dave Richards.
Okay, Dave comes in averaging 128, high single 191, and a high triple of 468.
And again, Dave trying to make it his second straight win. This is the first time he's been with us in a couple of years in singles competition. So he got off to a good start last week, and he'll try and make it 2 in a row now against our number 3 seed, who has not been here in singles competition for quite a long time, from Franklin, Massachusetts, John Potorski.
Okay, John comes in average 120, high single 198, high triple 470.
And we have $70. Speaking of 70, in the bonus ball contest, that'll be at the end of the hour. Of course, a couple of sets of brand new bowling balls on the line as well, and we have more information about our little fundraising effort, too, for the Salem Boys and Girls Clubs. We'll have all of those details for you, and string number 1 between John Potorski and Dave Richards right after this timeout. Don't go away. Here's how it looks for this series on Candlepin Stars and Strikes. Our 5 bowlers. Last week, Dave Richards with the win by 40 over Glenn Shattuck to advance to week 2 today against John Potorski. The winner of this match gets our number 2 seed, Pat Pay, in the semifinal next week. And in the championship match, it'll be number 1 seed, Bob Kelly, against the survivor of all those other competitions. So that's how it looks, and Dave Richards will begin this match on lane 32 here at Park Place Lanes, coming off his win last week, in which he rolled 10 spares and 1 strike.
He's starting with the head pin and the 7-pin. Piece of wood in front of the head pin.
Yes, the ball came right down on top of the 7-pin.
Almost went airborne right over the 7-pin. Watch the ball. Boom.
Right on top. With a spare and a quick 9 fill for Dave. Well, Dave mentioned it at the end of last week, and you talked about it already today, Dan. Dave is aware that he needs more than .354 today, probably, to beat John Potorski. And he starts off with 2 marks. Here's John.
Light on the head pin. Let's see how much damage it will do. 2, 7, 8, and 10. Piece of wood, couple pieces right next to the 2 and the 8. Oh, that close. Great try. Great effort by John Potorski.
John was just with us in doubles competition with his partner Gene Gates a few weeks back. They lost a match to Tom Farrell and Bob Johnston, but it has been a long time between visits for John in singles competition. The last time he was here on Stars and Strikes in singles was September of 1984, just a few months after the program started. So almost 10 years. Another good effort by John, but no spare. Haven't really talked about that, Dan, but we are approaching our 10th anniversary here on Stars and Strikes. April 22nd, 1984 was when it all began.
Seems like only yesterday.
And of course, 10 years in television, that's like dog years. That's like 70 years in reality.
Hey, we've held up pretty well then.
Another spare for Dave Richards, make it 3 in a row.
Missing the head pin this time, but half a dozen. 1, 3, 7, 8 left. No woods really to help.
Dave will have to make a shot here to continue this streak. Yes,
Oh,
he
he
got it!
does.
Oh, he stayed down in the crouch, and he got it.
You know, I said there's no piece of wood to help. Actually, the 7-pin was taken down by that lone piece of wood that was next to the 3-pin. But what do I know?
Fast start for Dave Richards, 4 marks in a row.
A little different than last week.
He didn't have his 4th mark last week until the 17th box of the match. And there's a spare for John Potorski.
And not an easy one. The 4 horsemen plus the 8-pin. A little trouble with the 7-pin, but that finally goes down.
John dropped that one a little bit, but got away with it. 7 drop.
Looking at the 1, 2, and 4.
No. When John was here back in September of '84, he threw a 412 to beat Mark Gallant. Then the following week, he threw a 444 to beat Bob Dicker before losing a semifinal match to Tim Lipke. Dave Richards with the half Worcester, and he knew it. Well, looking for his 5th mark in a row. Let's see if he can convert it. Pretty close. Leaving the 7-10.
Already at 72.
Nine box. 73 half. Of course, we always encourage you to visit your nearest NHCBA bowling center to enjoy some candlepin bowling on your own. When you go, you can find out when the roll-offs are going to be for bowling competition here on the Winds.
Oh boy.
Dave gets robbed there.
Certainly did. Had the wood to help him in between, but he's just flush on the 2-pin.
And if you come to Park Place Lanes here in Windham to do your bowling, be sure and stop in for a bite to eat at Willow Tree North. Say hi to Rodney Cronin and all the gang at the Willow Tree North restaurant, located right inside Park Place Lanes, right here on Route 28 in Windham, New Hampshire. Oh, big first ball for John. He almost carried the 8, but not quite. John with 2 open boxes to work on here. And there is a spare in the first one.
John, 54, as you can see, plus the ball.
John from Franklin, Mass.
Oh boy, nice light hit that time. Kept the pins mixing for him. Gives him 9 fill on the spare.
Brings him back within 10 pins in the match.
He's got a choice here. Go at the 7-pin or use the wood. He's going after the wood.
Why not?
My kind of guy.
Now, you'd never have said that 10, 15 years ago, though, right?
No, I would admit to it.
And Dave has another half Worcester, this time on the right side.
Oh, will he get it?
Oh,
No.
he deserved it. Leaving the 6-pin.
Enough body English to carry it, but
And the 10. Dave Richards now an overall record of 7-5 here on Stars and Strikes competition.
Well,
and how about that for a leave?
He wants the 8-pin to go down, but it's not going to. Look at it rock back and forth. Typical spare leave. The 8 and 10, no wood.
How do you play this one?
Well, there's a reset button up there. He's going after the 10, see if he can come off the wall.
Have you ever seen anyone make a shot similar to that where they would be so full on the pin that they hit that the other pin just kind of jumps up off the plate? Every once in a while we see on replays the pins will actually leave the plate and come back down. Has that ever worked for a spare that you've ever seen?
I can't recall anyone doing it. I've seen the pins come up and set back down again, but not be knocked over. But I'm sure it's happened.
We'll get a letter on that.
I'm sure.
Oh, John Potorski on the spare with the spread eagle.
Of course, I always tell the story about Gary Duffett making the 7-10 no wood. We were bowling in men's doubles at the time.
You remember how he did it?
Yes, he was almost flush on the 10 pin and hit the sidewall or went straight up, came back down onto the plate, and then rolled over and knocked down the 7 pin.
John Potorski back in the pocket, and he'll have the triangle this time.
It was ugly for a minute. He had the triangle plus the 7 pin by itself. The 7 pin finally went down, leaves himself just the triangle 6, 9, 10.
Doug, can you move your microphone a little closer to your mouth?
Yes. Good conversion there for John. His 4th mark. Each bowler with 4 now.
Just catches a little piece of the wood, but the ball continues straight through for the triangle. And as Doug said, spare in the 8th.
Dave Richards has a spare leave on the 3 and the 6. He's had 4 marks to start and then 4 opens. And now he's got his 5th mark in the 9th. Lots of noise here in this first game. It was kind of quiet here last week.
It certainly was. A little heavy this time, just half a dozen, 3, 6, 10, 7 pin, and Dave's going to take a look at the piece of wood. Whether or not I'm sure he's thinking about using the wood, carrying the ball off the wood for the 7 pin and have the wood take the other 3, but I think it may be too deep for him.
Dave with that little rock step before he goes forward, and he rocks that one down for a spare. Fine shot.
Caught the top piece of the wood, sent the wood into the 7 pin. The ball took the other 3. 2 marks in a row to finish this game now. 129 in the ball. Bonus ball to come.
This is already better than any game he rolled last week in his win. And he finishes off with a 6 fill and a 135. Good way to open for Dave Richards.
So John will have to mark out to catch him.
John's on a mark right here. Wants that 9 pin to go out, but it doesn't. Not quite. Oh my, the 9 pin is still there. It's the 9.5 right now. Imagine if that had cost him the spare.
Wow. It was half over. The wood hit it the second time and stood it back up.
The 7 pin is still there too. And the 10. Well, John will need a mark here in the 10th in order to get the deficit under 20 going into game 2. Or I should say under 10. It'll be under 20, but you'd like to get it into single numbers with a mark here if you can. Well, let's see.
Missed badly to the right, but not a bad leave. Got a piece of wood in there to help between the 2 and the 4. Got to catch the head pin though. Well,
Coming
maybe
back!
doesn't.
Coming back! Sure,
What do I know?
why not?
He doesn't have to catch the head pin.
He still hasn't hit the head pin. John's got a big smile. 119 plus a ball.
Gotta remember that shot.
This time on the head pin for 6 and a 125, so the lead will be exactly 10 for Dave Richards after one game. 2 to go here on Stars and Strikes. Details on our bonus ball contest after this timeout. Don't go away. John Potorski trailing by 10 starting game 2, and he'll shoot at a triangle. The 3, 5, and 6. For the spare? Yes, indeed. That is 12 marks already in this match. 6 for each bowler, all of them spares. And John has a nice fill ball there. It'll be a 9, leaving the 4-pin.
These bowlers came to play today.
And another one. Well, John's been saving this up for almost 10 years, so he doesn't want to fool around. Dave Richards, will he carry it? No, the 6-pin.
He's gonna want that wood to stop. Just want to ruin the shot. He's got a clear shot now at the 6-pin.
Yes. Mark number 7 for Dave Richards. Oh my. He did that last week, didn't he?
I believe so. The 1 and the 9.
Well, a lot of the bowlers oftentimes will put 2 fingers up when they know they've got a half Worcester. You very rarely see somebody put 2 fingers up when they're heading for the head pin. Well, he almost made that, though. That was.
And if they do, they're hoping 2 pins are going to left standing, not 2 pins going to go down.
That's a great 10 box, though, for Dave Richards.
He really worked out of that well. But only 22 pins in those two boxes. The lead now down to 7. 3. 7-pin advantage for John Potorski in this game. Could take the lead with this ball.
And he does, by a couple. 4 horsemen right, plus the rocking 8-pin in the back. No. And the 9 bucks. One of our participating sponsors for this series on Candlepin Stars and Strikes, our friends at Rockingham Toyota Dodge Nissan. Right on Main Street, Route 97 in Salem, New Hampshire. Rockingham Toyota Dodge Nissan. Come to Salem and save.
Oh,
yes.
Nice spare.
On the diamond.
Very difficult spare leave with a sleeper in the back.
You have to hit it full usually in order to carry it. And he did. Dave Richards for the spare, you bet. Dave loves the game, doesn't he?
He's got to get a little excited and things, and he's got to show a little emotion out there. He's too timid. Well, looked like he was heading for the 1-9 again. This time he kind of breaks him up a little bit anyways. The 2-4-6. 7-pin on the drop, on the spare. 7-pin drop on the spare, I should say.
Is that, if that wood is frozen, he might be able to get it from the back.
Inside.
Let's see.
Oh,
wow. How did he miss the 4-pin? Hit exactly what he wanted to hit. He was able to clip the 2 and the wood at the same time, but the 4-pin is still there. 10 bucks. So, John Potorski trying to retake the lead or at least get a chance to even this thing up, and we'll see if he gets a chance to do that when we come back. We'll take a break here on Stars and Strikes. Well, John Potorski working on a spare, and he needs 6 to tie this match up, 7 to take the lead. 8 will do it.
And let's see where the wood settles down. The 5 and the 8 pins left, and it's getting better as we wait. He's going to go right at the 5 pin, and hopefully the ball will just carry on through for the 8. Ooh, he might be too far left.
Yep.
Right, too far right. $71.5 though.
John right back in the pocket. He'll shoot at the 2-4 now. And he's got it. Spared all 3 times over on lane 31. In fact, he is now marked 6 times in a row on lane 31.
Both bowlers, you can tell, feel real comfortable because they're not wasting any time between delivering one ball to the next.
Oh,
He's got the 2-in-1 horseman. There's a hole in the corral. This may make it easier to make, though. Let's see. Then again.
that time he just went a little bit too far to the left. And a nice 10 box for Dave. He still trails by 2.
And opposite a spare that John Potorski's already posted.
Oh my, that pin might have cost him. Let's see what the wood does. The 7 and the 8. Well, if the wood stays out there, he might be able to get it spinning.
Yeah, he's afraid it's going to come in contact with the lane and straighten out on him, which he doesn't want to happen.
Let's see.
Got to catch it.
Ooh.
That ball was spinning like crazy, but it went straight down the lane. He was waiting for it to break a little bit to the left.
Well, maybe it wasn't there.
Well, John Potorski gains another in count. That's 3. Now the fill ball on the spare so he can push the lead into double figures for himself.
The winner of this match faces Pat Pay in the semifinal next week.
And this time another 2-pin. Leave this time the 3-6, opposite side of the one he just made. And he'll make this one.
Oh, yeah. We talked about it, Dan, about the bowlers not wasting any time. John was barely... It seemed like the pins were still falling from the first ball, and he had the next ball ready to go.
They get in that good rhythm. They just want to keep going. And he's just bowling with a lot of confidence right now.
Ooh.
Well, there's a break with the wood sticking around. Well, if it does, difficult shot, the 3 and the 9 without the wood in there, but he's going to have some help.
He's got another piece moving in, too, so... Might get some action on this. We'll see. For the spare? No. That ended John's streak of 6 straight marks on lane 31. He does get a 10 box, though.
It's still a decent game, 117 through 8.
We had only 1 strike in the match last week, and we've had none today yet. Dave Richards off target, and that's going to be just 3. Oh, he gave it a nice run, but the 6-pin is still there. And the 10.
The lead is pushed up to 19.
Does get a bit of a break there, that wood sliding through the triangle, but watch out for what it's doing now.
He doesn't like that. He's going to have to take that wood. If he catches just a 3-pin, he's not going to carry the 6. He's got to get most of the wood. That's a great
nice
shot.
Very nice shot.
Not enough of it, so it came off the right sidewall. Watch the wood come off for him, right there.
More important, too, because it broke a little drought for him. He had gone 4 boxes without marking. John Potorski in the 9th.
Oh, that's nice. Pin fell, swung around. Triangle in the right-hand corner. All kinds of help out in front. Should be no problem whatsoever. Spare in the 9th. 127 with a bonus ball to come. A great second game by John Potorski, who opened with a 125.
Spare number 11 for John in the match. Dave Richards has 9.
Right back in the pocket again, this time the triangle.
We're seeing a lot of triangles today.
And it looks like a favorable piece of wood. As long as he doesn't come too high in the wood, he should just sweep everything from left to right. Ooh, he's way high. Way high. Oh, he gets a break.
Got it from the back. Something hit it from the back. Watch the 6-pin.
I think it was the ball.
Yes.
How did the ball come back?
Well, last week we had spread eagles all over the place. Today we've had triangles everywhere. On the mark in the 10th.
And a good place to leave that one.
8, a 152, a 2-game total of 277 for John Potorski.
A quiet 152. Really, just kept plugging along, getting marks. Before you know it, 152.
Dave Richards on a mark. And there's another triangle.
This time, no wood to help Dave on the 3, 5, and 6.
Oh, he slid by. Dave's going to be trailing going into the 3rd game. It's just a question of what the margin will be. He would love to get a mark up there in the 10th to make it a little bit easier for himself.
Lead remains at 19. But John Potorski finished with a spare 8.
Oh, no. Not the place for that.
1, 8, and 9. Spread eagle plus the 5-pin. Well, he almost made the spread eagle last week without the 5-pin in there.
Oh, boy. Gave it a scare. But it's going to be a lead in the 20s for John Potorski going into the 3rd and final game. 9 box for Dave. 114, 249. So the difference is 28. John Potorski, 28 pins to the good with 1 game to go, and we'll be back in a minute. For the 8th consecutive year, the folks here at Park Place Lanes are sponsoring their annual bowl-a-thon to help raise money for the Boys and Girls Clubs of Salem, New Hampshire. And we here at Stars and Strikes are happy to participate in the effort here to raise money for a terrific cause. And so what Dan Murphy and I have decided to do is that we will take part in the bowl-a-thon by having our own 3-string match. And we'd like you to solicit, or rather, we'd like you to send your donations in on behalf of the Boys and Girls Clubs. And you can do that one of 2 ways. You can either just write a check out to Bowl-a-thon and send it in to Park Place Lanes, Windham, New Hampshire, 03087. But if you do that, make sure you indicate whom you're supporting, Dan or Doug, because, of course, we're having a little contest here to see who can raise the most money. And
there's a choice?
So, yeah, there is. So you can either send in a flat pledge supporting Dan or myself in this little 3-string match, or if you'd rather, you can pledge an amount per pin for one of us in the match. Like, for instance, if Dan were to roll in his 3 games, say, a 270, and you were to you were to pledge 10 cents a pin, that would be a donation of $20, $27 rather. So what you should do is pledge either a flat amount or pledge an amount per pin and send in your name and your full address and mail it in to Bowl-a-thon, either Dan or Doug, Park Place Lanes, Route 28, Windham, New Hampshire, 03087. And we'll be talking about this a little bit more over the next couple of weeks, and we'll let you know when the bowling is complete, and we'll let you know what the scores were, and we'll be brutally honest, I promise.
I'm going to practice now. You got me fired up. Of course, Dan is easier to write than Doug. It's one less letter.
Dave Richards starting game 3 with an 8-box. He trails by 28 coming in.
Ooh, got a good break there. Kicking out the 4-pin. Leaves just the 6-10. Well, it was good. Now he's, well, let's see. It works. Kick your foot to the left. Moves the pins left.
Those dance lessons really paid off for Dave, didn't they?
Glad he wasn't wearing his tutu there today, though. Is that what you call him?
Got the spare after a long wait. That is spare number 10 for Dave Richards. John Potorski has 12. There have been no strikes in this match.
Usually happens when you mention that the next ball is a strike. But this time the 1, 9, and 10 for John Potorski.
It's kind of the reverse kiss of death. This might go for John. Let's see. Yes, indeed. He just clipped the head pin.
I thought he was going to go by the head pin. That ball broke a little bit to the left at the last minute, just enough to catch it, and then he utilized the wood for the 9-10, and he gets the mark in the first frame. Game number 3. Back on the head pin. Oh, nice break with the 7-pin going down. 9 fell on a spare.
And another one. 2 marks to start for John Potorski here in the 3rd.
Next week, after a couple-year absence, Pat Pay will be back with us. Oh, there's a lot of Pat Pay fans out there.
Yes, indeed. Oh, big ball for Dave Richards, and it's a 9 drop.
That's about as close as we've come to a strike. Those 9 pins exited pretty quick.
And so does that one for the spare.
Dave's not going to concede anything, even he's down by 30. Oh, a little full. Let's see. Well, 7-pin drop. 3, 6, 7 left. Piece of wood next to the 3-pin could help. First chore is make sure he catches the 3-pin. I don't know if that wood is angled enough to get the 7, but let's see what happens. Oh, missed the 3-pin. Can't miss the object pin. You got to give yourself a chance to make that spare.
9 box. 53 through 4. Ooh, and John is right through the center, punches out the 1 and the 5 on a spare.
On a spare, right. Bad enough chop on the 1 and 5, but when it's on a spare. Oh, so all of a sudden, that 30-pin lead is going to, at least some of it's going to disappear. Down to 24 now. Box is completed.
Nice pocket hit that time for John. Leaves the 10-pin.
hang on.
Oh! I don't believe so. A 9-box.
9-box. That ball slid off.
John takes a 9. That could be costly. 6 boxes to go in the match. The difference is 24. Dave Richards in the lead, and we'll be back.
Okay, here you see that replay of that last 9-box. Watch the ball just leave the lane right there. Left the lane, come in contact with the wood, then knock the 10-pin down.
So a 9 for John Potorski. I believe I said Dave Richards was leading by 24 in the match, but obviously John leads by 24 with 6 boxes to go.
Made Dave feel real good. John kind of questioned you.
Dave right back in the pocket. Not much of a leave, though.
Well, that being the 5, the 8, and the 10.
How about that shot? Oh, mercy. Terrific shot. The 5, 8, and 10 for Dave Richards.
Don't need to describe that. You know what he had to do. Light hit, and watch what happens. He wants that 5-pin, seems to be his problem pin today. Wants to stay up there. The 5, 4, and 7. And all kinds of lumber out in front and next to it, behind it, between them.
That front piece of wood is right out next to the plate. No telling what that might do if he hits it.
I think that's the one he's going to have to take a piece of, though. I wouldn't trust the back pieces.
Oof. Sent him spinning, but the 5-pin is still standing.
Well, any consolation, Dave? I think we both would have missed it because that's the one I would have went for.
Let's check it. Ooh, that other piece just flipped right behind the 5-pin.
John, all over the head pin all day long. 3, 5, 6, 10. Oh,
yes. That is spare number 15 for John Potorski. 15 spares in 25 boxes. He seems destined to go over 400.
He's all business today, I'll tell you. He's right back on the head pin again.
And there's another triangle.
I know he's missed it a few times, but very few. This wood behind the triangle should help him.
Oh, yeah.
Another one.
2 more. That may push the lead back up to 30 again when John comes back to the line. 4 boxes to go. Dave Richards is through the center. He got a break on the 7-pin, but not much else.
Well, in this case, I go after the 3, 6, 10, hoping I can catch a piece of that wood behind the 2 and the 4. Well, that's what he tried to do, never touched the wood. And he needs marks desperately now.
Of course, all the competitors here on Stars and Strikes with one goal in mind, and that is to make it to the year-end Tri-State Megabucks Tournament of Champions. Our 6th annual event will come up later in the spring. And, of course, the bowling every week brought to you in part by the folks at Tri-State Megabucks. Just imagine. And how about that? First strike of the match, and again, like last week, it comes in the closing boxes.
Well, anytime you throw one, there's a possibility of throwing another one, so no lead is safe until it's mathematically over. And John Potorski working on a pair of spares, can't let up, and doesn't.
9 drop on the spare, increasing the lead to 33 for the moment.
He's just picking the ball up and firing. No waiting at all.
Another one. That one very nearly left the lane too, but he hung on that time. 17 spares for John Potorski. This time he'll have a more difficult leave.
I don't think he's made a cut shot yet. It wouldn't surprise me if he split the 3 and a 6 and made this one.
Oh, yes! Yes, sir. Watch it again.
He's been around his object pin all day long, so you just had a feeling that this is the one he was going to make. And boy, what a crucial shot that was with Dave working on a strike. And that's just about going to do it, I believe, unless Dave can convert this and throw some more strikes. But depending on the fill, he's going to have to make this. That should do it.
$9 for Dave. 117 with 1 to go. He's going to have a pretty respectable triple of his own, but it's just not going to be enough today.
I was going to say, we said he's going to need more than the 354, but we didn't think he'd need this much more than 354.
Just a formality for John Potorski, these last 2 boxes. And also the fact that he'll be over 400.
It was a 10 box, the last box.
So that's 127 for Dave Richards and a 376 3-game total. John Potorski with 4 marks in a row.
Another cut shot. Can he cut the 2 into the 6?
This one a little tougher than the last one he made. Not quite. He's over 400 though, and more importantly from John's point of view, he is into the semifinals next week against Pat Pay. A 9, a 126. He's already at 403 with 1 box to go. And how about it? One time for John, a strike in the last box. His first strike of the match.
Now there's a guy that hit 400 without the benefit of strike. That strike just puts him further over 400, but he is already at 403. So he did it without the benefit of the strike.
Oh, how about a double? Yes. Why not?
He's in the zone.
That is 20 marks for John Potorski. 18 spares and now 2 strikes.
Boy, if this double strike was up in the game a little more, he would have a monstrous total. He's already at 423.
146 in this game, plus a ball. Just 5 this time. And a 151 final game. Congratulations from Dave Richards. What a terrific match. John Potorski, 428. He waited almost 10 years. He made it worth the wait. He'll be back next week for the semifinals. And we'll be back with both bowlers in a minute. Back here on Stars and Strikes, Doug Brown along with Dan Murphy, and while we were in the commercial break, Dan and I were discussing again that shot by John Potorski in the 3rd game, which was ruled a $9, but you mentioned something interesting that maybe a lot of people aren't aware of.
Well, the tie goes to the runner. That's baseball, also in bowling. If it came in contact at the same time, you'd give him the spare.
So on that shot, if the ball had hit the 10-pin and the wood in the channel at the same time, that's a legal shot then?
Sure.
Okay, I think probably a lot of people aren't aware of that. They figure if you hit the piece of wood in the channel that it's automatically not a shot.
No, you don't want to take it away from them. I mean, you know, it's good. It's good. But it was no good, and I called it immediately.
And I'll tell you what, it's a very difficult call to make in real time, especially from 70 or 80 feet away, but you nailed it.
Well, you know, at 50%, you know, either right or wrong.
And you were lucky that time, let's admit it. All right, let's talk to both bowlers now. First of all, a round of applause for Dave Richards after a win last week. Coming up short this time with actually a much better score, 376 this time for Dave. 4th prize money, $175. And, boy, you really had a tough guy there against you this time. I don't think John missed a shot all day.
Well, like you say, with that controversial shot, I think you got him a little upset. He went 102 pins for 6 boxes, so I think you should have gave it to him.
An outstanding triple for him and for you, the $175 prize. And you've been here several times already this year, so perhaps we'll see you again before the season's over.
Thanks very much.
All right, Dave. Thanks very much. Congratulations. And now John Potorski for our bonus ball contest. Just joking with John during the break. Last time he was here, we didn't have a bonus ball contest, I don't think. I'll have to check into that. Actually, maybe we did. It just seems like so long ago. $70 on the line, along with a couple of brand new sets of bowling balls. And let's see, on a 7, let's see if we have a match. You had to dig deep for this one. not a match. The number is 8, and that's going to be a tough read. But the card is from Somersworth, New Hampshire, so we'll figure that out and get a consolation gift to you. John, come on in here so everybody can see you. That's a terrific match. Sure, give him a round of applause. 428. Terrific bowling.
Thank you.
Terrific.
I hit the object pin, I guess, most of the way through it. I stole a couple of shots there. Other than that, the ball was right there.
Now, on that shot we were talking about in the fourth, on that time, you knew it was no good,
I turned
right?
right around, I think, right away, and I said it was no good anyways. Anything close, I don't like to get into any kind of controversies. I'm always in the middle of something anyways.
Well, no controversy today. 428, a terrific triple, and just Pat Pay next week in the semifinals.
Another tough match. Let me tell you, another good competitor. Let me tell you.
Well, you waited almost 10 years to come back, so you made it worth the wait, I guess, with that throw.
I got no comment there.
Congratulations, John. We'll see you next week. All right, Pat Pay will be his opponent in the semifinals. Let's look at it for you now as we are left with our top 3 seeds in this ladder. John Potorski, the number 3 seed, defends that spot, and now Danny moves into the semifinals against Pat Pay. It's been a long time for him, too.
Out of the coals into the fire. Yeah, it doesn't get any easier as you move up the ladder, that's for sure.
And Bob Kelly in that number 1 spot. Don't forget, next weekend here on the Winds, it's semifinal week, Saturday at noon on Stars and Strikes doubles in Londonderry, and then back here next Sunday at noon for the semifinal in singles on Candlepin Stars and Strikes here at Park Place Lanes. Until then, for Dan Murphy and the whole crew, I'm Doug Brown. Have a good week, everybody.